Well, good day to everyone out there watching in YouTube land. Welcome to Randy's Guitar Attic. Today I thought we would talk about the early days of online shopping. We did a little bit of this on our live stream that we did. By the way, if you have not checked out our live stream, we do it every Wednesday afternoon just after 5 or so. So please check that out if you get a chance. But we're going to talk about the early days of online shopping today here and how much it has changed and how much do you remember about the old days of online shopping. You know, this store has been here for about 23 years. We've had this store open here in this Daytona Beach area here in Florida. And prior to that, I worked in three other music stores. And the first one I worked for back in the 90s, there was a thing called eBay that popped up. It was the first one of many to come after it that actually you could actually buy stuff and sell. It was more of an online auction. And unlike it is now, eBay now we know we can buy it now and all this stuff. Back then you didn't have a buy it now. It was complete auction only. And you would, see something. If I saw a Gibson Explorer, I said, oh man, that opens up at $1. And I really would like to get that guitar. Here's the other factor. And I talked about this on the YouTube live stream. Yeah, in the early days, there were no pictures at all. It was description only. So you had to trust this person that this guitar actually existed. It was in the condition they claimed it was. And whether UPS or FedEx, whoever, was going to get it to you in one piece. And this did happen quite a bit, that you had people, would send you something that wasn't quite the description that they said. But for the most part, in the early days, everything was pretty much straight across the board until the scammers got in there and figured out how to load guitar cases with rocks or whatever, just to kind of ship them across, and you get this guitar, it's, a case with rocks or whatever they put in there to make it feel like it actually had something in it. Or you got nothing at all, you just got a case. So you really had to be trustworthy of these early online days. And one of the things we used to do was we'd see these guitars, like I was saying, I'd see an Explorer, it starts at $1. And you had to make the reserve, which I think they still have some of that out there as well. You still have online auctions, but not as much. Most of it is buy it now and it's gone. But you would see a guitar and it'd say, whatever. And you say, that guitar is probably worth about $600, whatever. You put a bid in there for $300. And you stick it on there and it would go up in increments. You didn't see how much what everybody actually bid. So it would go up and it would say, it's now $3. Even though you bid $300, now it's $3 because a couple other people have bid as well. And then it would go up and go up and go up. Well, a lot of times you would sit here and you would wait till the very last minute of this 6-day auction or 5-day or 7-day, whatever. And you wait to that very last second and you try to snipe that bid. I'm going to 425. Or the genius in a lot of people was they'd go 425.02. And that one other guy would go 425.01, and you would win it because you put an extra penny in there. And I'm serious, this is how it really did work. It did work that way. And then as times went on, you got people that actually got into the programming thing, and they would have an automatic timer go off and it would put the bit in there. Unfortunately, it didn't always work because still were people live that were able to stick their bids in there that were just enough to figure out how to get over that hump. You know, if that guy had put his bid in 428 or whatever, the live aspect would say, 428.05. Yeah, they won. But those people that had the programs, they didn't have to wait up until 3 o'clock in the morning to bid for this. That was the whole point of the program that these programmers had done. It was to not have to stay up until all hours in the night, because back then some of these auctions did end at crazy hours in the morning. So that was a weird thing in the early days. No pictures. You physically had to put your bids in there at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever just to get these items. And you had to beat the snipers that did this. So those were some of the early things. As things went along, then we got pictures. Pictures came about, and then we were like, oh wow, that guitar looks really good. I'm going to bid on that. Once again, we're bidding. We still don't have the buy it now thing. It hasn't happened yet. Now we're bidding on these items. You bid on these items and maybe you win. And you're still doing the snipe thing. You're still doing whatever. You know, you're still doing that whole process. But now you're getting these pictures and you see these guitars and you find these prizes. You actually see some of these pictures and you're saying, a guy says it's a Les Paul. And I'm looking at that picture and I'm going, that's got P90s in it. I know what that bridge is. I know where those knobs are. Oh, waffle tuners. I'm going to bid on this. Oh, it's at $1,200. Okay, $1,500. Maybe I'll get it at 15. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and this thing comes up to end the auction. You're waiting at 4 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully, you're going to get this guitar. But as with things go, you may not. But maybe you did, and you got this guitar for $1,535 or whatever. $1,535.05. And they shipped the guitar to you, and sure enough, that guitar is exactly what you thought it was. You just bought a 1954 Les Paul Gold Top. Or whatever. Yeah, I'm just maybe a 1957. Because I believe the waffle tuners were that era. Trying to think. But anyways, so you got this guitar and you're like, wow, I got a deal. So next time you see this Stratocaster, same thing. Wow, single ply pickguard, clay dots. Guy says it's a 70s Stratocaster. That's not a 70s Stratocaster. My dad bought this for me when I was in high school. Okay. He bought you a used guitar. I'm going to bid on this guitar. You put your bid, boop, 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 boop. Starts at a penny. Boop, 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 boop. I'm bidding $1,200, whatever. All of a sudden, that $1,200 now is $1,500, because you're not the only smart one in the bucket now. Now everybody else has caught on to what eBay does. They have caught on to the people that don't realize what they have. Why? Because here was another factor in eBay. People didn't know how to spell very well. So you had to try to figure out how these people actually spelled Stratocaster or Les Paul, because you would get these Strato Blaster or some weird kind of way to spell a guitar, or maybe they just misspelled something. There was no, fixing back then. Nothing could be fixed. If you put something in there, that's the way it went up. It went up that way. So if you spelled Les Paul by LESPALL, that's the way it went up. And you had to try to find this guitar out there because the categories weren't as broad as they are now. You didn't have all these crazy categories separated. So you had to try to find it. And these guys that were really smart, that figured out this early on, they got a lot of good prizes. They got a lot of really nice guitars just because they understood the game early on. I got a few of those. I can say I got a few of those as well, but not to the glory that some people got. I know some people that got some really, really good deals on eBay in the early days, just because they were smart about how to figure out how to do the spelling thing. But anyways, so that was one of the other things, and you would do that, and once again you're bidding on these things, and these things would go off. But here was the other part, and I got hit with this a couple times. I got one guy, I bought a Hagstrom Viking from a guy, and I think I told this story actually in the live stream that it showed up, it was broke, and it wasn't from UPS. This guy just had a broke guitar, and he just didn't show the pictures of the back of the neck. That was my bad. I should, maybe reached out to him and said, hey, can I see the back of the neck? But it was broke. Bad thing about this guy is my wife works in a bank at that point, and she could watch his account kind of. She did this little thing where she could hit his account every day and see when his check, his money and he would have money, I guess, going his, I don't know how she did, but anyways, she kept submitting this check every Friday or Thursday or Saturday. She just kept doing it on a day that she thought he might get paid. And she kept doing it. Boom, one day it went in, boom. It was 3 months later, there was money in that account, and it sucked our money back out. So that was a long time ago, but that was one of the good things about her working in that field. And then there were other people that just totally got scammed, like I said, with the rocks and all that other fun stuff. But anyways, we had a lot of fun in the early days of eBay. Reverb came about, and that kind of started the whole major decline of eBay. But eBay had, at that point, had gotten to a point there were so many scammers on there. It was not fun. It was not fun at all. So I don't know. I don't know what's next. With Reverb being sold to a conglomerate of, I guess I said that word right. If I didn't, you tell me. But somebody that has something to do with Fender. Anyways, I guess that's the way you want to just say it. Yeah, so this entity of company that has parts of Fender now owns Reverb, and we will wait to see what happens with Reverb, as now we know Fender has a piece of it. We'll see. Could it be the death of it? Could it be the launch of it, greatest thing ever? I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, that's what's going on around here, and we hope you liked today's video, and please hit the like and subscribe button and become part of the channel. And don't forget the live stream on Wednesdays just after 5. All right, till next time, guys, have a great time out there wherever you are, and enjoy the summer heat. Bye.